This is KC9VKV, and this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog program. If you have a radio, you want to check the audio on, we are recording, and we will post it up on YouTube in the next couple of days, and you can go there and hear what your radio sounds like. This is KC9VKV.
Yo, how you doing, Jim? KC9 Victor King Victor, K1 Germany, Z Roland, and K1 GZL.
Well, good afternoon, Charlie. How's it going up that way?
Well, we had a little bit of snow, up and, began about 3 o'clock in the morning, and right now it has stopped. It stopped about 11 o'clock this morning. We had about 6.5 inches. 6.5 inches, but we have another batch of snow coming in here. In the next couple of hours. It should be off and on right through early tomorrow morning, so we'll probably get another 3 inches out of that job. So you sound fine. There's a lot of short skips, very short skip on here, so that may cause a lot of QRM problems. Obviously, there's sporadic E in there. But you sound fine up here in northern New Hampshire, and I've got just short thing to mention about birds that send CWs. Go ahead.
Roger. Now, I have you this afternoon at 7 dB above my noise level. Usually you are 10 to 15 above the noise, but this afternoon you're about 7, so we do have less than perfect conditions. Roger.
Yeah, Roger on that, Jim. I know that because the skip is short, we're too far away. There's a lot of absorption going on. It's wide open into Australia early this morning. Let me mention one thing, what I'm talking about, birds. There are birds called the white-throated sparrows. White-throated sparrows are a little bit smaller than a robin, and those critters have been here for the last 6 summers, including this last summer, at least this last 6 summers, maybe 7. And these birds, you can't believe it, these birds actually send CW letters. They whistle out CW letters, and I call them the K birds because the most predominant letter is the letter K, as in king, but at the whistle. I've recorded these. I've made a recording of these. They'll go over the phone, but will not go over my 7300. But these things, I've heard them on one tree. You'll hear an O, then you'll hear a K. And at one point, a couple of years ago, I heard 10 Ks in a row. And you get W's and M's, M's and Mary. I've had A's and even T's and Z's and X's and SOS's. They sent out about 40 or 50, almost half of the total birds. Of the total letters in our language. It's an incredible thing. So I was just wondering if any of your viewers wanted to send to you the fact that they're picking these up too. I had a friend of mine that lives down in South Carolina. He has heard them in the month of March. They generally, in the colder months, they do migrate south and westward all the way down to northern Florida, down into eastern Texas, a little bit into northeastern Mexico, and of course all the states in between. So I thought I'd pass that on to you, and it's an incredible thing to hear. Hear all these robins and everything else. You just hear those songs. But these birds, the K is even. But the other letters coming up to it, like an OK, would be. But whatever tone the K they use for the letter K, it is consistent. It is a consistent thing, Jim. So I thought I'd just pass that on up into KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, Charlie. Well, our birds up here, they don't send code. They're more phone birds, I guess, because this one is he's saying CQ, CQ, CQ all the time, man. It's just perfect. Like I say, our birds are phone birds up here. Roger, Roger.
Roger on that. Yeah, but you're beginning to wonder. I'm beginning to wonder where Morse learned got the code from. There is a bird book out, but I think it's put out by a fellow by the name of Peters. And he mentions that they use the letter K in our code. But it's an incredible situation. Well, that's all I have on that, Jim. But I want to thank you for letting me mention that, because it's absolutely unbelievable. KC9VKV K1GZL.
Roger, Roger, Charlie. We did have a breaker in there. Breaker, are you still there? Hello, Breaker. This is KC9VKV. No, we didn't. We did, but I guess he went outside to check to see if what his birds were doing. It's really unusual. The first time I heard these birds running phone up here, is just really crazy, because he would be out there in the woods, and I'd hear him go, CQ, CQ, CQ. And I was thinking, man, I got to get that on tape so people will believe it. But alas, I didn't have my tape machine, so there you go. Well, Charlie, thanks. I should say you're going to the birds, but that's interesting information that they would be actually using Morse code up there, CW, to communicate with. And if you hear any more, particularly the SOS ones, they may be in trouble for sure. So you might have to check those out. But anyway, thanks for the info there, Charlie. Appreciate that. This is KC9VKV, and this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog program. If you have a radio you want to check out the audio, give us a shout. We are recording, and we'll post it up on YouTube, so you'll be able to go there in the next couple of days and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. Once you get to our Qso-Vlog page, then there will be a Qso that's marked My Group Aircheck 11/16/18, which is today. So you find a My Group Aircheck 11/16/18. So if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. KC9VKV.
Yeah, 73, Jim. See you next week.
Roger, Charlie. Thank you so very much. Appreciate that. Now I do hear a couple way back in the background there. We did move to this frequency in the afternoon, hopefully to get better conditions for our 100-watt friends around the country. In the earlier morning time at 10:30, where we used to have our Qso-Vlog program on Friday mornings, we were getting a lot of check-ins with 100-watt stations in the 300 to 400 mile range, coming in at 1 to 2 dB above our noise level. So it was pretty noisy. So we did check out this frequency in the afternoon and found that propagation was better. So, here we are. If you have a station you want to check the audio, give us a shout, KC9VKV. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog program. If you've got a radio you want to check out the audio, give us a shout. We are recording, and in the next couple of days we'll post it up on YouTube, and you'll be able to hear your audio there in all of its glory and figure out if you like it or not. If you need to do some adjustments, our whole thing is to be able to record it in as pristine a condition as possible. So we have reduced RF receive in the front end of the receiver to take it below compression so we don't have any distortions compression-wise sucking up between words. We furnish a very even platform there just below compression. And we're using a Yaesu 990 modified. It has an extremely flat receive audio curve, so about as close as you can get to perfection as far as copying the mail on your signal. This is KC9VKV.
KC9VKV, you copy November Golf 4 Delta Volt.
November Golf Station, come back with a call again. Okay, November Golf 4 Delta, is that a Roger?
Yes, sir. I'm in my mobile in North Carolina, and my name is Don.
Okay, I'm copying you at about 5 dB above my noise level, about 5 dB above the noise level. What's the name there, please?
My name is Don, Delta Oscar November.
Roger, Don. And what kind of radio you got in your mobile? That was ICOM 706, Roger.
That is a Roger, into a ham stick.
And a ham stick. Roger. Well, it's making the trip there. Sounding good. So you're doing, what, about 100 watts or so? Yeah, Don, are you doing about 100 watts or so? Don, I think conditions have changed just a little bit. You were below my noise level that last transmission, so I'm assuming you said that you were running just like 100 watts or so. Roger? Roger, Don. Well, let me say three, sir. You made the trip, and I've got you on tape. So if you want to check out our Qso-Vlog page on YouTube, just go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and that'll take you to our Qso-Vlog page. And on that page, you'll find one session called My Group Aircheck 11-16-18. My Group Aircheck 11-16-18, and that will be this one, and you will be there. Roger? Roger, Don. Last transmission was about just 4 dB above noise level, so not good conditions this afternoon at the moment. And what would your location be? Give me your location again, please.
I'm in Morseville, North Carolina, about 40 miles east of the city of Charlotte.
Okay, I got North Carolina. What's the city? Okay, I didn't copy that. I'll just put it down as North Carolina, sir. That's a great state. All right, Don, in G4D in North Carolina. Threes to you, Don. Have a good day, sir. And like I say, this will be available on the YouTube Qso-Vlog page within the next couple of days. This is KC9VKV. If you've got a radio you want to check the audio on, give us a shout. We are recording. This is KC9VKV. Gosh, there was one station that was right at my noise level, just barely bumping up off my noise level. And, this would be an excellent time to think about checking your ALC to be sure you're running mid-scale to 2/3 on your ALC. And also maybe just a little more top-end EQ, because that's the thing. When you get into a marginal situation signal-wise, boy, a little top-end EQ will definitely help in discerning the articulation of words. If you're just a flat EQ, it tends to not jump out when your noise level and your voice level are the same. But if you do have just a little brightness on that top end, plus 2 or 3, on the top in EQ, that surely does help the cut and the perception of what you're saying. This is KC9VKV in the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog program. Getting a little QSB now, so it should be interesting. I'm sure we're out 3, and I'm not sure how far they're out, but anyway, we shall see how it goes. This is KC9VKV if you're interested in getting a sound of your radio recorded, and then you could check it out on YouTube. This is the place, KC9VKV. Tango station, go ahead.
Kilowatt 9, Mike Tango Echo.
Roger, sir. Who we got there?
Yeah, Hal here is Jim. We're located south of Madison, about 25-30 miles. And I think I have your call correct. It's King Charlie 9 Victor, John Victor. Is that correct?
Victor, King Victor, VKV. Roger.
VKV. Okay, very good. Got you correct. And very good. Yeah. I'd just like to run a real quick test. If you're recording there, tell me when to go. Go ahead.
Well, we are recording, sir. When you said you were so many miles from Madison, what state of Madison?
Wisconsin.
Oh, Roger. Okay. I was thinking there's a Madison, Tennessee, a Madison, Kentucky, and a Madison, Indiana that I knew of immediately. Roger.
Yeah, okay. By your call being in a 9th district, I figured, you were pretty much local. Your signal kind of indicates that to your inbound. So, Madison, Wisconsin, and I guess if I'm recording, let me do this. Okay, I turn this off here. My power level is going to drop. I'm more concerned about the audio, what effect it has on that. Maybe we get back to the original. Okay, and here's the original. We are running the 2 IHY boxes, so and a Yaesu FT1000. So we have no internal processing on the transceiver. So I guess back to you. I didn't get your name. KC9VKV, K9MT.
Roger, let me give you the call again. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. And I do have a tendency to I've got a little trim pot, a little audio trim pot right by my PTT, and I do have a tendency to ride gain, try to keep all audio up to a 0 level. If that involved an audio transition that you wanted to check, you might do it again, and I'll just leave the volume where it is, and it'll just be up to Mother Nature as to where she takes the signal audio, Roger.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that'd be great. Okay, well, this is the original position here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we'll go to the new position. Okay, this is the new one, and basically what we're trying to do is set up one easy way to switch from processed audio for DXing to non-processed audio, or not as much processed audio for reg chewing. So now I'll go back to the original. Okay, this is back on the original setting. So that's kind of what we're trying to do here. KC9VKV. I think we have it now. K9MTE, go ahead.
Roger, Roger. What's the name up that way? I didn't get your name.
Yeah, Jim, Juliet India Mike, and yours?
Same thing, ditto, Jim.
Okay, well, I shouldn't forget that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a tendency to every once in a while. It's, oh boy, one of those days when I do. But, okay, so I've got your situation there, and I have recorded you, and I did not shift any kind of volume levels on that last one. Of course, you know, you do have conditions constantly ebb and flow, so you kind of have to, you know, make allowances for that, too. You know, another way to look at that would be maybe if you ran a compromise between your you know, your Qso EQ and your contest or DX equalization settings, you know. Like I have found that if you run your processor, your compressor, at about a 3, versus, you know, if you have a 1 to 10, if you run it at about a 3, that's a nice choice bit of compression there that the average person wouldn't even hear, and yet it increases your average peak modulation quite a bit. That in relationship also to the ALC. You want to be sure to be running your ALC at mid-scale to 2/3. Roger?
Yeah, very good, Jim. Yeah, actually, our ALC is very low. We have done testing for years on this. Scale levels real quick. And we're 1, 2. Yeah, we're about 1/3 scale on the ALC. So, not a whole lot of ALC. We have found that that can be a bad mix in the whole deal, running too much ALC. So, but yeah, we're just trying to do something. We have things set up for our, you know, DX audio, if you want to call it that. But then when we have, you know, reg Jews, people kind of complain because I have so many highs and the audio is too loud and this and that. You know, they want more comfortable listening things. So rather than going and changing all the equalizers here and compression levels and audio levels and everything, you know, I've got so many controls in here between these two boxes and then the transceiver that I was just trying to find a easy way out, and I think I found it, but I just want to make sure.
Roger, Roger, Jim. Well, if you find the answer, let me know. I have been looking for the ideal answer. You know, I guess it is. A lot of the modern radios have menu-driven situation where you can create all different kinds of conditions in, say, a memory, and then you can choose that memory or another memory, would, you know, and so you could have you know, a lot of different modulation conditions in there, and you could just go to memory and hit that memory position, and all those settings come into play on your radio. Of course, I can barely afford my own memory, Roger.
Yeah, Roger, I understand that. Yeah, well, just you listening there, what are your comments between the two different modes? Go ahead.
All right, so when you're running now, I think would be a good DX mode or contest mode, you know. Got a lot of punch in it in the upper side. But, you know, for Qso, you would probably want to crank in a 4 4 dB or so of bottom end push, plus 4 or so bottom end EQ to make it a little more mellow. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me make my change. Okay. I made my change. Basically, is what I have done. Some of it I don't know what I've done because, well, let's see, I don't know if you're familiar with the IHY boxes or not.
No, negative. It sounded like you kept the same top end and just put a little boost on the bottom side, Roger.
And it's not anything by design, that's for sure. Experimenting, and I happened to be monitoring myself one day and playing around with it, and this mode here happened to sound, well, what I would consider as close to Reg 2 quality as I can easily achieve here. Jim, go ahead.
Roger, you're in Reg 2 at the moment. Your last transmission was Reg 2?
That's correct.
All right, I would think just a little more bottom end, if you have any, that you can put on that and then that motif to make it just a little more mellow. In other words, you're still keeping your top. It sounds to me like you're still keeping your top end EQ for both situations, but on the Reg 2, I think you want to be just a little more on the bottom side bass line. Roger.
Right. I understand that totally. The situation, though, to make this easily changeable between the two modes, I can't be doing any adjusting on the equalization for either mode. The DX mode is already set, and that's staying set. It's just basically the Reg 2 mode. That this mode here, the Reg 2 mode, when I was monitoring myself, appears to be a little more mellow than the DX mode. But, and I understand what you're saying, that I could use more lows. But to do that is going to kind of upset the apple cart. In fact, I can do it right now, just okay, right there, that's it. Should add more lows. Probably actually need to add a bit of mid range, but I can't do that. This was just strictly for a test here, but no, I can't do that. So if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work, and that's fine. Then I stay in the DX mode all the time, which is not unusual across the band. A lot of people do that. So back to you, Jim. KC9VKV, KC9VKV.
Roger, Jim. Well, we've got it on tape, and you can go to YouTube there and do the call it a search for KC9VKV. And when Qso-Vlog page comes up, this will be called My Group Aircheck 11/16/18. My Group Aircheck 11/16/18, and this will be the whole hour and a half air check, and you'll be in there, and so you can hear the various changes that you made and see what you think. Roger.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. That's great. I really appreciate that. Appreciate your time and patience and by testing here and doing the recording and so on. Yeah, we'll listen to that. I think you said, what, it'd be a couple of days or something. You were telling the other fella a couple of days or so before you have it on YouTube. Go ahead.
Yeah, Roger, we say within a couple of days. That'll give us, I don't want to say I'll get it up there and then not get it up there. So a couple of days, I'm sure I'm going to make that, Roger.
Okay, sounds great. Like I said, I really appreciate it. And sometimes, listening to yourself, you can get a little bit better idea of what if you're achieving what you want to or not. Audio is such a subjective topic, and you know, you can ask 10 people how the audio sounds, and you'll get 10 different answers. So I've come to the conclusion after literally playing for years with audio that I'm best off listening to myself and making the adjustments that way. And if I like what I hear, fine. If I don't like what I hear, then I try to make it to the point that I do like it. Go ahead.
Roger, Roger. Well, that's it, man. You got to satisfy yourself first, and hopefully other folks will share your feeling there, and so that's the thing. But being able to hear it cleanest, that's the important thing, and it's hard to talk and listen at the same time. I mean, it's just your words, your spoken words get in the way of your ears. But if you're listening back, not having to speak, then you can more succinctly copy the mail on the articulation and all that stuff with the audio. So I wish you luck, sir, and hopefully you'll be able to get your situation where you can flip a button and go from one to the other, or find a nice compromise that you can run the same thing for both, So 3 is that away, sir, and we appreciate it, Jim. Roger?
Okay, well, I truly appreciate it. And you're right. It's hard to talk and listen to yourself at the same time, and that's why I just have to be on this frequency listening. I heard you mention that to the previous Qso, and I said I'm going to jump on this one. I'm going to see if I can get in there and get a quick check. So, okay, Jim. Well, we're going to get out of here. Take a quick look across the band, and then we got to get some things done around the house here. It's been kind of a radio day today, and nothing gets done around the house. So, again, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And we will look forward to listening on YouTube. KC9VKV from K9MTE.
Roger, Roger. Jim, 3 is that away, sir. You have a good day. And this is KC9VKV with the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog program. If you've got a radio that you want to check the audio on, give us a shout. We are recording, and we'll post it up on YouTube in the next couple of days. And you can hear your station as about as pristine as can possibly be. So KC9VKV. It was 2 stations, both towards my noise level, but try again, please. Now, I scared both of them away. This is KC9VKV. Give us a shout. We are recording, and we will post it up on YouTube, and you can hear what your radio sounds like. KC9VKV.
AV4 AM.
Is that the AV4 AM?
Alpha Bravo 4, Alpha November.
Roger, Roger. Good afternoon, sir. This is Jim, Juliet India Mike, KC9VKV with the Qso-Vlog program.
Joe, it's nice to meet you. I'm Joseph. Some people call me Joe, but the family calls me Joseph. I am located in Alabama. I'm halfway between Birmingham and Huntsville, and it looks like my phone is ringing. Sorry about that. AB4 AM.
Roger, Roger. That is the way it is. As soon as you make contact, then your phone starts ringing, and mine does that quite a bit. It's one of those things. I'm not sure whether you're going to be able to rejoin us or not. I'll keep her open here for a few minutes. This is KC9VKV, the Qso-Vlog program, where we record your audio and then in the next couple of days post it up to YouTube. And if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that'll bring up our Qso-Vlog page, and on that page you'll find a session called My Group Aircheck 11-16-18. The session is called My Group Aircheck 11-16-18. That's the one we're doing right now. It'll run about an hour and a half or so, and you'll be in there. So let's get back and see if Joseph has rejoined us.
Absolutely, Joe. Thank you for your patience. Yes. Okay, well, now that all the feedback is off and the phones aren't ringing and the telemarketers have shut up for a little while, posting isn't a problem, but I would like your comment. I'm running a Flex 5000A here. The mic is turned up to about 45 out of 100. I've got a tiny bit of compression on it, and just any remarks would be appreciated.
Roger, Joseph. Looks like you're running about 3.5 dB dynamic range, which is good. And from the standpoint of the compression, I cannot really hear it working, so I'm assuming it's a 3 or less, somewhere around a 3. That's what I would usually recommend. And then also on your ALC, if you have a meter, I suggest running the ALC at mid-scale to 2/3. And that is your ALC is the beginning of the fattening process for your audio. It's a limiter, so you don't want to push it too hard, but mid-scale it would be the preferred place. And now you may have lights instead of a meter. Do you have a meter or lights?
You're right. The compression is at a 3, and it is a meter, and it's running at about.
Roger, Joseph. We just had a band condition there. You went down to quite low level, but I'm assuming that that's just a momentary thing, and your conditions will come back up. Yeah, I suggest a 3 on the compressor, because you don't want your blower and your wife and kids sucking up between your words. So if you really go crazy on the compressor, that's what you wind up with. So a 3 is a nice choice amount to run there, and again your ALC in the mid position, and those two things should give you about a 3 dB dynamic range, which is a very comfortable fattening of the audio, and you're going from a unprocessed audio is about a 30% average peak modulation. So when you get your dynamic range to about a 3, you'll be running about 65% to 70% average peak modulation. Roger? Joseph, I think we have run out of string for the moment. I think we have run out of string for the moment. You were under my noise level. I could not copy it all. But let me just pass along. We will be posting this up on YouTube within the next couple of days. So if you get a chance, go to YouTube and do the call letter search, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. That'll bring up the Qso-Vlog page, and on that page there'll be a session called My Group Aircheck 11-16-18. My Group Aircheck 11-16-18, and that'll be us. And the earlier parts of your transmission were well above my noise level, so you'll be able to hear yourself in the clear pretty well there. Roger? Roger, Roger, Joseph 3's away, sir. Thanks for checking in. This is KC9VKV with the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog program. If you've got a radio, you want to check out the audio, give us a shout. We are recording.
Good afternoon. This is Kilo Charlie 3, Romeo Oscar.
Kilo Charlie 3. Is there a Kilo Charlie 3?
This is Kilo Charlie 3, Romeo Oscar Bravo.
Kilo Charlie 3, Romeo Oscar Bravo, correct?
Roger, roger. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Who we got there?
This is Kilo Alpha 3. Kilo Alpha 3.
Bravo. I've been listening for about the last half hour, and I am recording audio on my side. I believe the name on your end is Joe, correct?
Negative. The name here is Jim, Juliet India Mike, and I am speaking with Kilo Charlie 3, Romeo Oscar Bravo there. So everybody just stand by. What is the name there, sir?
Here is Rob, Romeo Oscar Bravo. I am recording from this side. You are 5'9" and 20 over into Maryland. Mike Delta, Maryland, over.
20 over in Maryland. Sounds good to me. I'll take it. It's kind of like bingo. 20 over here. Good afternoon. And what radio are you running, sir?
I'm running an IC7100 by iTunes with the microphone came with it, a handheld. And running on a G5RP antenna in my back drum. You have, in the last half hour, you have not faded at all. Your signal has not bounced up and down in the band. You've done actually quite well, over.
Roger, sir. I'm copying you right at 5 dB, 4 or 5 dB above my noise level. I'm assuming that you're running about 100 watts. Is that a Roger?
Roger that. 100 watts.
Roger that. Wish we'd had better conditions so you could hear your audio a little cleaner. From what I can tell, it sounds good to me. I do love to hear it cleaner though before I really make any prognostications. So the only thing I would suggest would be that you double check your ALC to be sure you're at mid-scale to 2/3 on your ALC, and maybe a 3 out of 10 on your compressor, maybe a 3 out of 10 on your compressor if you choose to do that. But if not, just make sure that your ALC is running mid-scale. Roger, Roger.
Roger that. I dropped it. It was at 60 out of 100. I now have it at 50 out of 100. Over.
Roger that. Well, I copied you a little bit better. I would think you're now about a 6 over my noise level. It does make a difference, particularly in marginal situations. I mean, when you're scraping for everything you can get and trying to read Braille, somebody pops in the compressor with a 5 out of 10, and all of a sudden you can understand what they're saying. Roger.
Roger that. I really appreciate the kindness, sir. Thank you so much. I will be checking out the compression settings on my system. I'm not sure how I'm sounding. I did try something there. I don't know how well it sounded. But I am recording from this side. Would you be interested in having me post the audio on YouTube if you're interested in hearing from your end?
Oh, sure. Yeah, love that. Where should I check?
I'm going to work on that. Do you have a contact on QRZ?
I have a site on QRZ. If you could, well, I tell you what, you could leave. If you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, and then that'll take you to our Qso-Vlog page. And then if you left word on, there's a session, this session called My Group Aircheck 11/16/18. This section is called My Group Aircheck 11/16/18. If you might leave a comment on that session, I could follow up on it, Roger.
Roger that. That's a great idea. I didn't think about that. I could just put it on as a comment when the page is posted, when the video is posted. All we can do, let's go ahead and wish you a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you very much for this time. KC9VKV, KC3ROB clear.
Roger, Roger, Rob, and this is our Happy Thanksgiving show. The closest Friday to Thanksgiving as we could get, so we have A little font here says Happy Thanksgiving. We had a turkey. We did have a real turkey, but it didn't show up too well. I mean, it was hard. It got in the way of a bunch of our stuff on the set, and you couldn't really tell it was a turkey. So I guess it was a turkey of a well, anyway. But anyway, the turkey bit the dust, and that's the way it goes for Thanksgiving, I guess. But we do have our little font that says Happy Thanksgiving. So Happy Thanksgiving, Rob, and appreciate the check-in. And as I say, if you go to YouTube and do that call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will bring up our Qso-Vlog page. And on that page, this session is called My Group Aircheck 11-16-18. 3 is that away, Rob. Have a good day. This is KC9VKV.
That'd be great.
And this is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor with the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog program. If you have a radio that you want to check the audio on, give us a shout. We are recording, and in the next couple of days we'll post it up on YouTube, so you can go there and check out your audio and not even have to talk. All you got to do is listen very intently to what your radio sounds like. KC9VKV.
Yes,
KC9VKV. This is Kilowatt 3, Uniform Zulu, K3UZ.
Uniform Zulu station, come back with your call sign, please.
Yeah, Kilowatt 3, Uniform Zulu, Kilowatt 3, Uniform Zulu.
Roger, Roger. I have you are 7 dB above my noise level, which I can't give you a real S-meter reading because I don't have anywhere near the RF cranked into the front end to give you that. But I'm looking at the output of your audio on my VU meter, and you are 7 dB above the residual noise level, which is a nice signal. Roger.
Yeah, okay, Jim. Name here is Bill Bravo India Lima Lima. Name is Bill, and I'm located in Bellefonte, Pennsylvania, which is right in the center of the state. And I'm running Kenwood Gas 590 SG with a $20 microphone. And I just I'd like to have 2 settings on the low cut, and the high cut. And right now I'm running 100 cycles on the low cut and 3,000 on the high cut, and I'd like to change that after this transmission there. Over.
Okay, your signal has varied a little bit towards the worst side. You're now about 4 dB above my noise level, but I am recording. So, was it Bill or Phil?
Yeah, it's Bill, Bravo, India, Lima, Phil. And, yeah, your signal is fading down to about an F7 here. You were 20 over, so the band is moving around here, Jim. But anyhow, let me change something, and I'll see if this different setting might cut through a little bit better.
Alrighty, we are standing by, sir. This is KC9VKV and the Qso-Vlog program.
Yeah, okay, now I don't know if this is any better copy there. Turn the low cut up to 300 cycles, and the high cut I turned down to 2,700. So it's from 300 cycles to 2,700 cycles. At this time, a little more narrow, and wonder if this is a little more easier to cut through there, Jim. Go ahead.
I'll tell you what, my philosophy is the top end is the cut. Top end is the articulation. So I would never roll the top end. I would always be flat on the top end or plus. My usual preference is like a +3 on the top end, because that's where your enunciation, your articulation, all that stuff resides in those upper frequencies. And if you roll those off, your intelligibility level suffers. So I would keep that top end at flat or +3. My preference would be +3 to add to the clarity of your words. Roger?
Yeah, okay, very good. And so anyhow, am running a very poor antenna here, by the way, Jim. It's a dipole, but it's only about 20 feet high, so it's a very well, it's basically a cloud former, or NVIS antenna, I guess, basically. And I am running a little bit of power here, about about 800 watts PEP, 800 watts out to the dipole. And as I mentioned, the rig is a Kenwood TS590SG. So I just am wondering, with this $20 microphone, about the intelligibility and what you think or how it's coming across at your QTH there, Jim. KC9VKV, K3UZ.
Roger, Bill, I think it's great. I got no problems at all. What is your top-end EQ? What is your top-end EQ?
I have it at 3,000 cycles.
At what level?
I'd have to get into the menus and, oh my goodness, figure out what I have here.
Roger that. Roger that. The thing is, I would leave my mid-range. If you have a 3-band EQ, I would leave my mid-range flat, and then I would boost my top end 3 to 4, and then figure out what I need to do on the bottom end, Roger, or whether it's plus or minus, and that depends on the microphone.
Yeah. You see, the way this radio works is I set it up with a laptop. I have there's a software that comes with that you can get from Kenwood, and it has, you download, you put that into the computer, and it saves that setting. It's a user setting. And if I want, I can't look at it unless I hook the computer back up to this to see where my levels are, and across the EQ, where each band frequency is set. But I'll have to do that and see what I have. But as long as it sounds okay. I'll keep the microphone. I guess it's working all right. It's a Behringer XM 8500, and it seems to seems to work okay. I haven't gotten any bad reports with it, I guess. So anyhow, back to you there. This is K3UZ.
Roger. Last transmission was just perfect. You were like 10 to 12 dB above my noise level, so really good. And I could hear your audio really good. And it could go as a contest mic, or it could go as QSO. It's kind of in that area there. It's not too sharp and it's not too heavy. So hopefully you could go to YouTube and do the call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and look for a session called My Group Aircheck 11/16/18, and that'll you'll be able to judge from that probably what you need to do. The only thing I could also suggest was, if you have not checked your ALC after you changed mics, I would definitely consult my ALC, because not all mics are created the same, and some mics are hotter level than others, and so you want to be a mid-scale on your ALC. Roger?
Yeah, Roger. That's where I'm running right now. It's about half scale, maybe just a little bit above half scale on the ALC. So, okay, well, I'll let you go. Thank you very much, Jim. I appreciate you picking me up, and we'll certainly look for that and on the YouTube. So, thanks again. Have a great Thanksgiving and a great weekend there. 7-3 for now. KC9VKV. This is K3UZ in Bellefonte, Pennsylvania. I'll be clear.
Roger, Bill. 3 away, sir, and you have a good Thanksgiving. And that mic, regardless of what the cost is, the sound is really good. So I would, certainly would be within range of wherever you would want to go with it, it would be capable of, doing that. So 3 is that away, sir, and you have a real good Thanksgiving. This is KC9VKV and the afternoon Qso-Vlog program for Friday. If you have a radio that you want to check the audio on, give us a shout. We are recording.
Kilo Delta 9, India Victor Victor.
India Victor Victor.
Yeah, this is Kilo Delta 9, India Victor Victor, Rick in Central Illinois.
Let me get my dyslexia going here. Kilo Delta 9, what was the rest?
India Victor Victor.
Roger, Roger. Thank you so very much. I was talking to you there for a few moments without my toggle on switch. Yeah, I'm testing out my ESP. It's a long story. I got a good copy on you, sir.
All right, good. Thanks so much. New hand here, so any little information will help me.
Okay, now Mother Nature just gave you a big hit. You went from probably about a 10 above my noise level to about a 5. Hopefully that's just a temporary thing, sir. Come back to me. Let me hear you. Sir, I got nothing. Mother Nature and her cruel jokes. You went from about a 10 or 12 dB over my noise level to under my noise level. So maybe things will reverse in a little while. And if I come up better to you, give us a shout and we'll try it again. Roger, Roger.
Right.
This is KC9VKV in the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog show. Anybody need a radio check, want to get it recorded and be able to go to YouTube and hear it, give me a shout.
0
Alpha.
Roger, Roger. This is Whiskey Yankee 0 Alpha in South Central Kansas, over.
Oh, man, never been to Kansas, I don't think. How's it going out that way?
Not too bad today. It's up to about the low 60s today. It has been pretty cold, but glad to see the weather get up. The name here is Butch, over.
Roger, Butch. What kind of radio are you running there?
Okay, this is an ICOP 7300. Just set it up about a week ago, and it's pushing into an Alpha 9500 amp, putting out about 1,000 watts right at the moment.
Roger, Roger, Butch. Well, you do have the radio of the hour. That 7300 is a beautiful radio. I've been trying to talk the wife into it. I have promised her 5 years of honeydews in exchange for that radio. Roger.
Roger that, Roger that. Well, I guess I managed to get a little bit of a bonus, and I didn't say anything to my wife, so she doesn't know where I got the money for it there, over.
Oh, roger that, roger that. Well, that is a beautiful radio. And, you know, I never have heard a bad one. Out of the box, that thing is ready to trot, Roger.
Roger, I haven't really done anything to it as far as any equalizations or anything. I pretty much just turn it on and just playing with it there, over.
Roger, yeah, you got a good deal. Would you say how much in generalities that you paid for that?
I think it was, I bought this one, I think it was about a year or so ago, and I just got around to putting it together. I think I paid about $1,200 for it, over.
Roger, yeah, that radio has been compared with all kinds of very, very expensive radios out on the West Coast. I think it came out 12th as far as the capabilities versus the other radios. We're talking $6,000-7,000 radios in that group, Roger.
Yeah, Roger that, Roger that. Well, I kind of just dedicating this one to the lower bands of 4075 and 160 when I get an antenna for that. I have an Elecraft K3 that I use up on the higher bands there, over.
Roger, just something about the out-of-the-box EQ and the, are you using the stock mic?
Roger, this is an SM30.
Roger, Roger. Well, they have set that radio up for that mic then, and you know, ALC running about mid-scale to 2/3. That's the beginning of the fattening process. So instead of a normal radio where you might begin with an average peak modulation of 30% without any processing, you're coming out of the box with that radio with about 65 to 70% average peak modulation. Roger.
Roger that. Roger that. Okay. Well, I appreciate your time, but I'll look it up on YouTube and take a listen to myself there. Over.
Roger, Roger. But what's the call sign again?
It's WY0A.
Great, great. And we'll be posting this within the next couple of days. So if you go to YouTube and do that call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to the Qso-Vlog page. And on that page, there'll be a session called My Group Aircheck 11-16-18. My Group Aircheck 11-16-18. Roger.
Got it all. Thanks a lot for your time, WY0A.
Roger, Roger. Butch, 3's that away, and 3's all the way out to Kansas. Who is that went to Kansas? What was her name? The Wicked Witch of the West, or whatever.
Dorothy.
That's right, Dorothy. That's what it was. I'm beginning to feel like Dorothy.
Yeah, there you go. The yellow brick road doesn't run too far from my house.
3's Butch. You have a real good afternoon. This is KC9VKV in the afternoon, Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog program. If you've got a radio you want to check the audio on, give us a shout. We are recording.
November 3, Mike India, Quebec, Mobile.
November 3, something Mobile.
Hey, good afternoon. November 3, Mexico, Italy, Quebec, Mobile. Over.
Roger. Now, where might that Mobile be?
Right now, I'm south of Baltimore in beautiful downtown Pasadena, Maryland. Over.
Pasadena, Maryland. My gosh. What's the name there?
The name is Brian.
All right, Brian. That Mobile's smoking. What kind of power are you running there?
About 350 watts. 350 watts with a ham stick and a 857D. Over.
Roger. Well, that'll get the job done. You're running about 10 dB above my noise level. I have been looking at your audio on the output of my radio on a VU meter, and I've got your level set for 0, and what's left when you're not talking is my noise level. So you're running about 10 dB above my noise level. Roger.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, this thing seems to work well for Mobile. It is the RM Italy amplifier. And like I said, 857D. So, yeah, you're about 5'9" here. You're very loud. Over.
Roger. Now, do you notice that when you turn left or turn right, the signal varies by your direction?
Oh yeah. It's definitely, vehicles are definitely directional.
Roger. So have you ever wound up in an interesting QSO and in 20 minutes or so in this QSO wound up being in somewhere you don't know where it is because you keep making these turns to improve your signal?
No, actually I really don't worry about it that much. And as soon as we've been talking, I made a right and a left. Over.
All right. It's like the FedEx man. He can't. I think they're not allowed to make left-hand turns. They can only turn right. And I've tried to figure out how that works, but I guess it's a time that they have to wait taking a left, that they can make 2 rights and come out ahead of time. Anyway, Butch, you're sounding great in that, Brian, rather, in that Mobile is smoking. Roger.
All right, thank you very much. Well, I'll let you get looking around. I'm sure there's other people calling. I just wanted to say hi. This is the first time I've heard you, and I'm on 40 meters all the time. So anyway, sounds real good here in Pasadena.
Roger, Brian. Well, we just do Friday afternoons between 3:30 and 5. We have this Qso-Vlog program where we record it, and then within a couple of days we post it up on YouTube so folks can go there and hear their audio. If you might be interested in that Smokin' Mobile audio, if you go to YouTube in the next couple of days, we'll have it posted, and you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and when you're on our Qso-Vlog page, then you'll look for a session called My Group Aircheck 11-16-18. My Group Aircheck 11-16-18. Roger?
Yeah, okay, no problem at all. I will look that up in a few days. Thank you very much, 73.
Roger, Roger. 3's that way. Beautiful sound in Mobile. This is KC9VKV, the Qso-Vlog program. If you've got a radio, you want to check the audio, give us a shout. We are recording. There are about 5 stations there, and a couple of loud ones, but I was also getting some QRM. I'm not sure what that's about, but anyway, loudest one, come back and try it again.
Kilo 4, Lima, Juliet.
Lima Juliet something.
Kilo 4, Lima, Juliet, Mike. Name here is Larry, located in North Carolina.
Roger, Larry, you're sounding good, buddy.
Thank you, sir. I know you got a lot of people wanting to talk to you. I just wanted to say hello to you and tell you you're sounding good here in Elkin, North Carolina.
Roger, Roger, Larry. What's the call one more time?
Kilo 4, Lima, Juliet, Mike, K4LJM.
Roger, Roger, Larry. And whereabouts, let me ask you this. What radio are you running?
I'm running a Kenwood 570D, 570 Delta.
Roger, Roger. And what kind of antenna?
I'm running just a band dipole that I made myself out of coax, just a regular old coax antenna that we made. I am running a RM Italy amplifier. It's running a solid state amplifier. It's running about 800 watts now.
Oh, Roger, Roger. Well, I'm counting every watt there, buddy. That it definitely is coming in very, very strong. I can't really give you an S-meter reading because the receiver's not set up for that, but you're at least 12 dB above my noise level. Roger?
Roger, appreciate that. You're coming in 10 over here without any problem. Sounding great, sounding great. Listen, I'm going to clear out and let you go ahead and get them others just calling, because there's a handful of them out there. But I do appreciate you, and we'll be listening for this on the YouTube video. So you take care. This is Kilo 4 Lima Juliet Mike. This is Larry and Elkin. Have a great day, sir.
Roger, Roger. As I look at it now, I think that was about 15 dB over my noise level, Larry. Oh, that is a smoking radio there. 3's, and thanks for checking in, and we will have you posted up on YouTube within the next couple of days. This is KC9VKV in the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog program.
November 8, Kilo,
Kilo Romeo Oscar.
November 8, Kilo, Romeo Oscar.
Roger, Roger. What's the name there?
The name's Dale, Delta Alpha, Echo. Here 5920 over here at Bingo Junction, Ohio.
Roger, sir. Roger. Gosh, I was just wondering maybe if you came up on mic for a test. Just curious about something. This is KC9VKV. Roger, I think I was just curious. Our conditions have changed quite a bit. I imagine I've dropped down to you quite a bit.
No, you haven't. Not at all.
Roger, I'm copying you about 5 dB above my noise level. What's your power running?
100 watts. I just kicked in the processor. I run 100 watts, running a Yaesu FT767.
Roger. Well, things are getting a little bit better there. That was your 7 dB above my noise level. I keep setting my trim pot for your peaks at 0 on my VU meter, and then when you stop speaking, then I can look at the noise level. So it looked like things were getting a little bit better there, Roger.
Roger. Yeah, you sound good coming in here
propagation must be favoring us real well there. Over.
Roger. Well, it seems to ebb and flow, you know. Sometimes we're up and sometimes we're down. Mother Nature deals the hand. We just play it. And so, you know, we can't say much about it. We're running about 10:30 till noon on Friday mornings doing our Qso-Vlog program. And we were getting a lot of 100-watt stations coming in at like 1 to 2 dB above my noise level, pretty noisy. So we did do some experiments and decided to go in the afternoons on 40 meters. And by and large, it's been a good move, and our 100-watt participating stations have been coming in fairly warm, like maybe 4, 5 dB above noise level. Roger.
Roger. Yeah, I'm running a double bazooka here for 40 meters. 40 meters is facing north and south. It does pretty well. Working on another antenna so I can get on the other bands, but a little chilly out there to go out there and work on it today. But I got it cut just a little bit too long, and got to shorten it up. Over.
Roger, Roger. Well, you know, if you're a dedicated ham radio operator, you know, you got to wait till it's minus 20 degrees to work on antennas.
Yeah, I put it up. It was warm, and just never got around to trimming it. Got to cut about 10 feet off of it, and I think it'll drop right into place. It's one of those Cobra seniors. I don't have a lot of space here for antennas, so that double bazooka works pretty well for me just on 40 meters. But I'm kind of limited then, and I'd like to hit 20 meters, and I don't want to put up a bunch of single antennas, and I want to go with something that'll cover more bands. Over.
Oh, roger that, roger that. Well, you know, tell me if you get the answer, let me know, because I'm running 4 inverted V's and 1 regular dipole to, you know, try to take care of all my bands, but mainly I'm just on 40, so that's an inverted V. And what I use on that is I use the negative side of. I'm not using a ballon. I'm just using a straight with a choke, and so I do my SWR adjusting on the negative side, and bringing it back on frequency on the positive side, and back and forth. And that there's 3 up there that are running 1.01 to 1. Roger.
Roger. Yeah, makes a difference when you got the antenna cut for the exact band, but I don't have the space for it. I figure I'll try this Cobra Senior and run it into a 4-to-1 ballon and 450 ohm ladder line, and see if the antenna tuner on the radio will handle it, which as of now it does on a couple bands, but not on all bands. But if not, I'll put the Yaesu antenna tuner on it and see if that'll work. But I like to work 20 meters and a little bit of 80 meters, and it should tune in there on 160. So it'll cover most of them anyhow. Over.
Oh, roger that, roger that. And what kind of SWR? I'm assuming that your double bazooka's cut for 40?
Roger, yeah, I don't even need the antenna tuner. I don't even tune it. It's pretty wide. I can band with it and not even use the tuner on the rig. Over.
Roger. Well, my Elmer is always talking about his double bazooka, but the problem is that his is cut for 80 meters, and I'm always trying to get him up here on 40, and that double bazooka is not kind at 40, and so he can't run his stuff, and he has to run, you know, barefoot pretty much. And you know, we're talking out there a little ways, and them folks who we're talking to usually say, "Who's that other person back in there?" And I said, "Don't worry about that. That's just blow-by from Bulgaria." Roger.
Roger. Yeah, usually those double bazookas are fantastic for the bands they're cut for, but they're not real friendly to go anywhere else. I know this one here, even barefoot, to try to get it down on 20, it won't go. It just won't do it. with the antenna tuner and the radio. I imagine it would with the another external antenna tuner, but not with the one in the radio. Over.
Oh, roger that. Could you give me your call sign one more time?
I sure will. It's November 8 Kilo Romeo Oscar, Dale in Mingo Junction, Ohio.
Roger, roger, Dale. Well, we appreciate the shout, sir, and if you want to hear what your station sounds like, if you go to YouTube, we'll be posting this Qso-Vlog on YouTube within the next couple of days. And if you go there to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page. And on that page, there'll be a session named My Group Aircheck 111618. My Group Aircheck 111618, and that's the one we're on right now, Roger.
Roger, I will do that, and I appreciate it. Thank you, and you have a nice day. There's a lot of people out there trying to call you, so we'll let the bells have a try at it there. All right, you take care. Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, from November 8, Kilo Romeo Oscar, 73.
Roger, roger, Dale. Good sound, good sound. I would tape that down. 3 is away. This is KC9VKV in the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog program. If you have a radio you want to check the audio on, give us a call. We are air checking now. KC9VKV. It was Alpha Echo.
Alpha Echo 4, November Echo. AE4NE. The name is Jerry. How you doing this evening?
Doing pretty good, Jerry. How about you, sir?
Doing real well. Just you talked about coal, working on that from the coal. That storm got my antenna. I've been working on it for the last 3.5 hours out in the cold. And you told me to tune in on Fridays. I remembered to do so to see how it was sounding. I hope I'm getting to you as well as you are to me. Over.
Roger. Now, we do have kind of up and down conditions, but your last transmission, you were 7 dB above my noise level, Roger.
Roger, roger. Yeah, you were 10 over S9, 10 over S9. Modulation is excellent. Modulation is excellent. I've had a fan antenna up running 7 different bands on one coax. The storm got it over the weekend, and then the last few days. So I had a G-part, whatever that thing is. I had over here in the corner. I went out and strung it up and grounded it real well and thought maybe I'd give it a shot. I didn't know it was going to be so much trouble as I got out there in the cold. My fingers wouldn't work, cutters wouldn't work. But I got it up anyway, and I appreciate you coming back to me and telling me that at least it's working some way or another. Thanks a lot, sir. Alpha Echo 4, November Echo.
Roger, roger. Just looking at your signal, that last transmission was 8 dB above my noise level. Your modulation is good, and your EQ is cutting there. And just a reminder, don't cut the ends of your antenna. Just bend them back over itself and wrap it around. You know, don't cut the antenna, because you may need to later on stretch it out. So if you just take it and bend it back over itself and twirl it back over the end, you always have that excess that you can use. Roger?
Roger. I usually leave anywhere from 12 inches to 18 inches folded over, like you said, in case the tree limb stretches it. I have some that I can, you can always, you can't add to them. Well, you can, but that's not good. But you can always let them out. I appreciate the information, but I did do that. And it's lucky that I did. I might need to trim on it just a little bit more. Like I said, running a fan antenna I made myself, and it got destroyed in this ice storm. But we got it back up, and I thank you for the report, and maybe I can talk to some of my friends after a while. Thank you, 7-3, God bless, and I appreciate what you do. Alpha Echo 4, November Echo, clear.
Roger, Jerry, just copying down your call sign. Roger that. And, it's kind of like you know those 2-meter antennas with a little ball on the top of the antenna? You know, that I think it's called a corona ball. What it does is define the end of the element by having more of a glob of metal right there on the end. It helps define the end of that. Usually it's like a quarter wave or whatever it is. But that's the same thing I found with dipole antennas, that sometimes I will just use, I will bend it back over itself, and then I will take a split bolt, and I'll put the split bolts right at the end of the element, right at the end insulator, and then I will hang down about 1 foot of wire, and then when it comes time to trim, I can actually trim that piece of wire that's hanging down rather than actually cut into the antenna. You know, that split bolt is putting that 1 foot piece of wire, connecting it to your antenna, and also that whole thing acting as a glob of metal to define the end of the element. And you know, when you trim on that, if you're long, you know, that works really well. You're just trimming like 1 inch at a time. Well, anyway, 3 is that away, sir. It's you definitely are working and sounding good. I hope you recuperate from the cold on your knuckles, Roger.
Roger. Hey, that's interesting. When you were talking, I tried to imagine that in my mind, what you're talking about. Where your insulator is on the end of the antenna, you let about 1 foot of the wire hang down, and you trim that. Yeah, the ball on the end of the antenna, you know, I've been a ham for 31 years, but no one has ever explained that to me like you just explained that to me. I try not to cut that ball off when I trim the antenna, but sometimes I have. I've learned from now on my other rigs, 446 and 2 meters, whatever, to leave that ball alone. Man, that's interesting, though, by trimming that line, that piece of wire hanging down on the end of the antenna. Man, it makes a lot of sense. Thank you for the knowledge. And again, there's a lot wants to get to you, sir, and I appreciate you. I want to hear what I sound like on your website. 73 from this household of yours. The name here is Jerry. I'm located right down below the Blue Ridge Parkway, 3 miles off the parkway, down the mountain. I'm not on the mountain. I'm down in the valley. AE4NE 73. God bless, sir.
Roger. 3 is that away, so you have a very happy Thanksgiving. And 3s. This is KC9VKV and the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog program. If you've got a radio, you want to check the audio on, give us a shout. We are recording. Gosh, loudest station. Try it again.
Tango X-ray.
Tango X-ray.
4, Yankee Tango X-ray. We're located in Florida.
Ah, what part of Florida?
We're in Satellite Beach. It's right across the river from Melbourne.
Oh, roger that. My hometown of long ago is down around West Palm, Roger.
Yeah, that's roughly 100 miles south of here, over.
Roger. Now, out of curiosity, you know, I've got this little thing. I say we're doing a Class A signal from Montreal to Miami and from New York to New Mexico. Oh, what's our signal strength down your way in Florida?
We're a good, strong S9 down here.
S9?
Roger.
You think we might make it to Miami?
I don't see why not.
Roger. We're located up around Louisville. We're just across the river from Louisville, about 3 miles from downtown on the Indiana side of the Ohio River. Roger.
Roger on that. We're running, our 40-meter antenna is basically only about 15 foot off the ground here, and we're running about 500 watts on it.
Roger. But you said about 15 feet above the ground?
Yeah, I've got it strung between 2 palms of myself.
Roger. Well, it's like my mama said, you don't have to smoke and drink to have a good time. That 15 feet, you know, it's not that you're coming to me by ground wave, you're coming to me by sky wave. So the altitude of the antenna is not really that critical, Roger.
Yeah, we're sort of real estate limited here, so I don't even have an 80-meter antenna up. I'm thinking about getting a trapped dipole and putting it back between the two pine trees. I think I got enough for that, but I don't have enough for a full-size 80.
Roger, Roger. Now, some folks have, and do you know what a slinky is?
Sorry, I missed that. Would you repeat it, please?
A slinky?
Yes, I know what a slinky is.
Well, just imagine that as a load coil. And depending on how much antenna you need, you would just collapse it or expand it, Roger.
Yeah, I've heard of that actually before. I'd sort of forgotten about it. So I heard about that a few years ago, but I've never tried that. Over.
Roger. I would think you could take a 40-meter antenna with a slinky on the end of it and pull that slinky out about 10 or 15 feet, and I bet you it'd be close to an 80-meter resonance.
Yeah, but it'd mess up to 40, right?
I'm sorry?
That it would mess up to 40.
Oh, yeah. No, that's true. That's true. But, I mean, you would have to decide, you know, if you wanted to work 40 or 80. But since your antenna is only 15 feet off the ground, I mean, you could easily, you know, make that decision, go out there and do it. Roger?
Yeah, you're right. But I think a trap might be the way to go. And the trap actually has a loading coil for the 80, so the 80-meter section of it gets shorter, and the 40 is pretty much full length.
Roger, Roger. Well, you're busting my bubble about my slinky. I had it all figured out. But you're probably right. Yeah, that would make more sense, and then you wouldn't have to go out there and change it each time.
Kilo 5, Oscar Mike Charlie, Mobile 5. How's the weather up in your part of the woods?
Fairly nice. It's a little chilly. I'd say right now it's about maybe 40 degrees or so. It almost got down to 32 last night, and it did kind of sleet a little bit. Roger?
Kilo 5, Oscar Mike Charlie, Mobile 5. It was our first really cold day down here, I guess. Cold by our standards anyway. They got down into the 50s last night, mid-50s, and it almost made it to 70 today. Over.
Roger, Roger. Well, you know, down in Florida, you guys, if it drops below 60, you got a cold spell going on.
You're right, and I think my blood stands out, and I get cold easy.
Roger. Well, that's why you're there in the first place. Roger, Roger.
Absolutely right. I've been down here for about 47 years or so I've definitely got sand in my shoes by now.
Roger. Yeah, my dad did some construction on Cape Canaveral or Cape Kennedy, or what is the name of that place now?
You know, I'm not sure. Cape Kennedy, last I heard, but I don't know if they changed it back or not. We're about 20 miles or so for crow flies south of it.
Yeah, Roger. He did concrete stuff, worked on some of the launch pads. So every time I see one of those take off from there, you know, I think about him and that work. We lived down in West Palm, and he would travel up and work up there Monday through Friday and come back for the weekends. It wasn't, you know, it was tough, but he did it, you know. And well, anyway, let me say 3 is down that way. You're sounding good up this way, and if you want to check out your audio, we will be posting this on YouTube in the next couple of days. So if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to the Qso-Vlog page, and on that page you'll find a session called My Group Aircheck 11-16-18. My Group Aircheck 11-16-18. Roger?
11-16-18, is that correct?
Roger. Today's date. My Group Aircheck, today's date, 11-16-18.
Very good. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I won't hold it any longer. I know you had a bunch of people trying to call you, so I'll pass along the 73. By the way, the name here is Grady, Golf Romeo, Alpha, Delta, Yankee. And 73 is to you, and thanks for the QSO, and I will check out the recording. Over.
Roger, please do, sir. Please do. 3 is that away. You have a real good Thanksgiving. This is KC9VKV and the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog recording. If you have a radio you want to check the sound of, we are recording. Give us a shout. KC9VKV. There was a station November something?
This is M3 HQV, November 3, Hotel, Quebec, Bravo. Bill in Hagerstown, Maryland. Back to you.
Okay, your audio is kind of, well, unprocessed. Yeah, come up on mic just a little bit. Let me see where it goes.
I don't think I can get much closer. This is an old KWM2 running through an Expert 2K.
Well, you just did. You came up about 10 dB from where you were. This is KC9VKV. The name here is Jim. Roger?
Oh, okay, Jim. Nice to meet you. Yeah, I've got plenty of headroom in here. I only driving it with about 15 or 20 watts, so I'm not going to play too much with the mic gain. Just hooked up to this about 6 decades, about 3 weeks ago. So, 64, and I think the bandwidth of these rigs is about 2.1. So, I wonder if I'm on frequency, or if not, how close I am, and the audio sounds like the 60s when it's going through the idea.
Well, you're on frequency, but I'll tell you, your audio did drop 10 dB if you pulled off mic or something. If you have an ALC indicator, like a meter, I would grab a hold of my mic volume control in the ALC position so you can see the meter, and I would bring the mic volume control up to where the ALC reading is mid-scale. I think you would be a lot better that way. Otherwise, I think you're under-modulated. So you put yourself in the ALC mode, and then use your mic gain, bring it up to about mid-scale. Roger? Station, stand by.
Oh, I'll give it a little bit more and watch it carefully. Hello. That's about a kilowatt.
Roger. Well, it's more from the standpoint of, you may be hitting 100% peak. Average peak is the thing, though. So if you bring your ALC to mid-scale, that will help your average peak modulation, and you should not have a problem with your amplifier. It's your words will hang more with about a 3 dB dynamic range versus a totally unprocessed signal. So again, if you look at your ALC, bring your mic gain up to mid-scale on your ALC, you'll be in a real good situation.
Oh, if I do that, I'll be running about 3 kilowatts.
No, I don't think so. Gosh, that's beautiful right there. It's amazing. You're really good.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm just kind of getting the hang of this old technology combined with the new. So anyway, been enjoying sitting here in the shack, doing some projects and reading the mail. Interesting Friday afternoon. 73 on 3HTV.
Roger that. Yeah, the ALC doesn't lie, and it is your friend. And if you run that ALC at about mid-scale, things really sound a lot better because well, anyway, if you would like to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube, we'll post in the next couple of days this QSO. And if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that'll take you to our Qso-Vlog page. And on that page, there'll be a session called My Group Aircheck 11/16/18. My Group Aircheck 11/16/18, and you will be towards the end of that session. It's probably be about an hour and a half long. Roger.
Yeah, sounds good. Maybe I should explain there is no power level control on these old rigs. You tune it up and you control the output by the mic gain level. So as I say, I've got the mic gain level at about 4, and I'm running about 1.3 kilowatts. If I crank that up to where you say, let us know whatever we can 73, and I'll set the recording on 2HTV2.
Roger. I understand what you're saying, but you listen to your audio and you'll realize that your dynamic range is, totally unprocessed, and that your average peak modulation is probably like about 10%. I mean, it's really down. So whatever you have to do to run your radio in mid-scale ALC and keep your RF output from the power amplifier within where you want it to do, that's what you need to do. But you need to, I think you need to run your average peak modulation up there where at least you're getting 65 to 70% average peak modulation. 3 set away, and you have a good, happy Thanksgiving.
Well, I understand what you mean. I'm barely sick of the ALC, and but if I run barefoot, then I run it different. 73 M2, excuse me.
Roger, Roger. And, well, gosh, we're turning into a pumpkin here. We're after 5 o'clock, and usually our Qso-Vlog on Friday afternoon runs between 3:30 and 5. If there is a particularly loud station out there that would like a recorded air check, come now.
W4 Japan, Papa Delta.
Papa Delta, that is the particularly loud station I was talking about.
Hey, Roger, KC9 Victor, Kilowatt Victor from W4 JPD. Beats the name. We're just outside of Charlotte here in North Carolina. You got a great signal.
Oh, you do too, sir. Your average peak modulation is about 70% or so. Your dynamic range, you're probably running less than 3 dB dynamic range, Roger.
Roger, and you don't need to record. I just wanted to say hi and let you know you got a very nice signal here into Charlotte. Pete's the name, 73.
Roger, Pete. Thanks for the comeback. And just out of kicks, you know, if you wanted to hear your beautiful audio, if you went to YouTube and did the call letter search, KC9VKV, this would be right at the end of a session called My Group Aircheck 111618. Really beautiful, beautiful audio. Nice, nice, nice. We'll catch you later, sir. You have a real happy Thanksgiving.
And you too. Thank you very much. And what's the name, incidentally?
The name here is Jim, Juliet India Mike, and we are located just across the river from Louisville.
Okay, Jim, great signal. 7-3, happy Turkey Day to you as well. W4 JPD, see you later.
Roger, 3, sir. You have a real good Thanksgiving. And with that, we will conclude our Qso-Vlog show for today. We run it every Friday afternoon between 3:30 and 5. And if you have a radio that you want to check out, well, join us next Friday afternoon from 3:30 till 5, and we'll get you recorded and then get you uploaded to YouTube. And then you can go to YouTube and do a call letter search, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. And when you get to our Qso-Vlog page, you'll look for a session. Well, then, I don't know what the date will be then, but today's date was 11/16/18. 3s. Happy Thanksgiving. This is KC9VKV Clear.